Hello, hello, hello again, everybody. We are back. I am AltJake. You're listening to AltJake Takes On, episode number 32 for our review of Bound for Glory and Crown Jewel with my buddy George. As always, how you doing today, my friend?
Good afternoon. Happy Columbus Day to you, and happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian friends.
Ah, yes, to our Canadian brethren up in the great. What are they? White North yet? Or have they gotten their first? I'm sure some of them have. I'm sure some of them probably. Come on, for me here down in the desert, I'm just it's a whole weird world to me. But yeah, that's it should be a fun. It was a fun weekend that we had. We've had a lot to cover up from it, but I do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Bound for Glory watch along last night on Spaces. Thanks.
Yeah, we got screwed up on that, boy.
Yeah, yeah. I
had a whole plan laid out for Jake, and then
yeah. Well, and in our defense, they've had started all the pay-per-views at 8 Eastern with an hour pre-show, but they did the pre-show earlier because it was their WrestleMania, so it was a longer pay-per-view. And big shout out to Chris Connor for hanging out with us for most of that too. That was a fun little time to have some conversations, and it was good. I think between the three of us, we had most of the knowledge. He was able to fill in the blanks that we didn't.
Yeah, I would just ask him.
Yeah, it was good. It had a lot more. Yeah, it was pretty good for sure.
Worked for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. It was
worth my $40. It was worth it. It was worth it.
It was a good show. It was fun, and we'll get into most of. Well, we'll get into all the matches. Some of them we'll talk about more than others, but we'll start with Crown Jewel. Unless there's
before we get there, I keep harping on episode 30 with Howard Baum. Yep. The reason I do is because it's something we've never done before, and it's a personality that most of our listeners have never heard before. So I would suggest going back and listening to episode 30. It's really good. You get a different perspective from someone that was actually there. Right. That's what I like the most.
Yeah. And we've, it does seem like from the comments that we've gotten and stuff of people, that it's been a good, an eye-opening experience for folks, whether either that they knew us and we're excited to hear from Howard, or knew Howard and we're happy that we were able to have the conversation with him. That was cool. It was really,
Steve Gennarelli from Stick to Wrestling. I've been talking to him. He's probably, he might be coming on here soon. So stuff like that.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, no, for sure. All those guys that are, I know like Howard not technically like has his own podcast, but I feel like he's like Arcadian Vanguard adjacent, that whole world of really fun and interesting conversations and podcasts from people, like you said, that were there and be able to actually live through it, whether obviously some just on TV, but Howard was there in person every week at the shows, whether he was as a fan, taking pictures, being more a part of it. And yeah, there's some really cool, I like what I kept saying is it's really a one-of-a-kind conversation. Nobody else is going to have a conversation like that than Howard, because he was there for it. That's really,
we could, if we had him on again, that would be a totally different conversation.
Right. And as far as I know, he enjoyed it. So I feel like we will definitely have to have him back sometime for sure to talk about whatever we want to cover. He's got more wrestling knowledge. I feel like that's I feel like we covered a lot of different things, but we covered the surface on some of it. Like with Dusty, we dove in a little bit, but like with his time in Memphis, like we covered basics in the beginning of it. But I mean, I'm sure he's got tons and tons of different stories. And
yeah, he just launched his Hardway Art stuff on Facebook.
Oh, so cool.
Howard Baum Hardway Art. He just released like 80 different things, I think it was yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Or day before.
I did link that in the description of episode 30. I did link to that. So and I think I did link to it in the whichever clip that we talked about it in for, and I put that on there too, because why not? Absolutely.
I just saw it yesterday. It just popped up.
Nice.
78 to 80 posters just popped up, and it's really
nice. Cool. He did say, it was funny because when we did talk to him, he did say, I've been working on some things. He's like, I've got some things on the cookers or in the hopper. Like he was. I mean, that we only did that like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, he knocked that out quick. Good for him, man. Yeah. That's awesome. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I think the moment he figured out that my parents were from New Jersey and that I had enough Jersey in me where we were able to connect, and yeah, that was fun. I knew he was probably a little bit concerned or nervous to actually like meet and talk with us, but within about 2 minutes, we just ripped and rolled. That was a lot of fun. That was one of those conversations too where I never looked at the first time I looked at the clock. We'd been talking for an hour and 4 minutes. I was like, oh shit! I thought maybe we talked for a half hour, but. That was a lot of fun. If you guys haven't
Unfortunately, that's kind of my gig to let the people know. I tell them I need you for an hour, and then when we start going over, I start getting a little nervous. So,
hey, so far everybody is that no one, at least from what I've until we haven't had people like checking their watches or not wanting to stay. Anybody we brought on, they've been like, oh yeah, no, I can hang out longer. We make it a fun environment for them. that'll be a lot of fun. And also to make sure you guys tune in this Thursday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern for our live show right here on YouTube. We'll be going live talking about, well, most of the Dynamite that's going to be on this Wednesday. If that last hour is just Collision with a bunch of matches that don't matter, we don't have to watch that.
We'll see. We'll see what they do. They're going to overrun it into the third hour anyway. So.
Right. I was just going to say, we'll see how it goes, but I feel like, yeah, depending on at least what the last couple of main events have been. Woof. But we will do that. Yeah, so make sure everybody's tuning in. Those have been a lot of fun. If you're not sure what the live show is about, I'm starting to clip those now too and put them in our regular AltJake Takes On clips. So if you're unsure what we're doing on the live shows, check out those clips. But tune into it. It's been a lot of fun so far. I think the third episode was the charm. We really hit a nice groove in that one where we were comfortable. We were cracking good jokes and making good insight. Still, the best insight that this show maybe has ever had was you saying that Bryan Danielson should be the GM of AEW.
Makes sense.
I am so stuck on that. But from now, I've been anytime I post or tag Tony Khan or Danielson, those guys need to be. He doesn't need to be on commentary. That's what he needs to be doing. Make it commentary, just Taz and Sockface, and let's go.
Yeah. Make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. It's certain cliches are cliche for a reason. Anything else though before you wanted to get into Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia?
We're set to roll.
Yeah, the show that started at 5 a.m. local time for me here on the West Coast, 5 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern time. I mean, from what I saw on Twitter, I stayed off of it until I watched the show. It seemed like a lot of people got up for it and watched it live, and good for them. I know you had a little bit of an experience with it. You want to mention that before we jump into it?
I woke up 10 o'clock my time. So it started like a couple hours prior to that. Jumped on the ESPN app. It says join live or start at the beginning. So I hit back to start the beginning.
Right.
I'm going along pretty cool, pretty jumping around. I'm pretty happy. Then the screen goes black. And I look at the clock and I'm like, oh crap, it probably just ended. So it ended, which I figured it would have. And I wasn't sure it would go off though. I didn't think it would do that, but it went off. And I'm like, well, give it an hour and see if it comes back on. I check back in an hour on the ESPN app. They got the pre-show up. They got the post-show up, but they don't have the actual show. I'm like, okay, that does me no good.
Nope.
Come back an hour later, same thing.
That's the problem. There's right there, right? In the initial part, like, okay. After that second hour, another hour with it.
But and it's all college football.
Yeah.
Which I get. So I have to type in WWE in the search, which is fine. I don't mind that. But all they got up are those three things. The stuff from Friday, the pre-show from Saturday morning, and the post-show from after the show. I'm like, still does me no good.
Yeah, somebody's got to get on that. They need to talk to Netflix.
I'm like, okay, let's try this a different way. So I start hitting the down button, all the NCAA football games, which is like 3 rows. Go down, then I hit NCAA women's hockey, gotta go down past that. Soccer, gotta go down past that. Field hockey, gotta go down past that. Volleyball, gotta go on. The very bottom, the last row possible. There it is, Crown Jewel.
Well, no, I mean I had forgotten about how much college sports ESPN has, and on a Saturday, that's gonna just dominate with it. Now, what they need to do is they need to figure out because
put it in where you type it in.
Well, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about I'm going back to where when it stopped on you. Because that's what Peacock used to do. I haven't watched many shows on Peacock recently where I've had to start them late. But I know for a fact when I've had to do that, the same thing would happen. When the show would end, it would take forever to go back and start it over. But with Netflix, I can rarely start Raw live, especially the last couple of weeks when they were starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 o'clock for me. I've got a life. But if you start the show 30, 45 minutes late, let's say, and it gives you the same option, live or start from the beginning, it will tell you at one point, there's like a little gray box will pop up and it just says the live show has ended. But you can still, you don't go back. You still watch your show and going through it. So there's definitely the technology there. And I have faith that they'll fix, because this is literally, it's only the second PLE they've had. And this is the first one where this would even be an issue. So it's something I want to keep an eye on though. And honestly, for the next one, I'm going to maybe I'll go. I don't know. I want to try to figure out if it's going to happen again because they need to fix it. That's something that needs to be brought to their attention because if they're going to be doing more international shows, which clearly they are with WrestleMania 43 being in Saudi, it's something that they need to figure out. And I have confidence that they will, simply just because of how much money has been invested in this whole endeavor from ESPN, Disney, WWE. They're smart enough to know.
Just put it in. When I type WWE, just put it in an hour later.
What they need, what they need is like Peacock had, where there was like WWE had its own section like on the left there where there's the hubs.
They kind of do.
Okay.
Kind of do, but you got.
I feel like they just need more content so that they can have like a home for that kind of stuff. I think it'll happen because that's where I know. But with Peacock, like I would never do the search stuff. I would just hit the left arrow and go down to the WWE.
Yeah, they had a WWE section because they had a crap load of stuff.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like ESPN will work its way there. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not glad it happened to you, but I'm glad you brought it up because this is just weird. It's good stuff to know, and there's always going to be hitches in the giddy up, so they got to figure it out.
Yeah, I didn't mind at first, and as you know, I have no patience. So.
Right. That's where that other out, like, if it had been like half an hour total, and then it comes back and all three are there, post-show, show, pre-show, cool. But like to have it not, plus two, as far as I know, and like the post-show is on YouTube, and I don't know about the pre-show, but I know the post-show is just on YouTube. So it's like, we don't need that. It's
like
very interesting, and I hope they fix it.
I even got smart, and I was like, you know what? I'll put on the pre-show. and skim through it real quick, and then I'll be able to watch the show afterwards, maybe. So I did that, and I watched like 2 seconds of the pre-show, but I fast forwarded to like the last 50 seconds, and it went off, and then the post-show came on.
See, now
that's stupid.
What my other question and what happened for me, because I didn't start. I mean, it was at 5 a.m. my time. I don't think I tried to put it on until like 11:30, so it had been off for a while. And when I clicked it, it was Crown Jewel, and it was just the full show, or it was just the actual show. I didn't know if it was going to be one video where I was going to have to like fast forward through the pre-show to watch the main show.
They had all those separate.
Yeah, I didn't click. I didn't see those because I just clicked on. I just typed in WWE and saw Crown Jewel and just hit it, and so but it worked fine for me within that aspect, but I was obviously many, many hours later.
It was just annoying. That's all.
No, for sure. Oh, for sure. And that's where, somebody in the back end of it is going to be on that. I would almost bet, because there's no way. It's not like you were doing something during the show and everybody else was watching it live. Like, I'm sure this happened to a lot of people, especially in your central time zone.
Yeah.
Because for you, for you guys, it started at 7. So I would assume a lot of people in the central time zone maybe started it between like 9 and 10 a.m. their time. Exactly. Yeah. But that's between 10 and 11 Eastern, and the show's almost over. Yeah. No, I'm betting you were not the only one, and I'm betting it was reported and hopefully got it. If not, if someone's from ESPN listens to this, fix that. It's got to be something that's got to, because otherwise, otherwise it was done well. But it's technical issues. There's always something fun with the technology stuff.
But it's not like the sound went out or the stream went out. Nothing major. It's just something that people that are older and have zero patience, like myself, just wanted the easier the better.
Yeah,
exactly. You know how I am at this point, dude. The easier the better. I didn't pick out my own laptop. I didn't do any of this stuff.
Yeah, no,
I asked somebody to do it for me because I don't have the patience to do it.
Yeah, hell, even when I bought my rising desk, I bought it disassembled and put it together, and it took me like you're like, nope, I'd have paid somebody to do it, which I respect. I get that,
and I did.
I get that. And he did. No, it makes sense. It works. No, it's. I mean, you gotta you. Hey, it's better to know yourself and know what works otherwise than just, I'll fix it up and get frustrated. That's like, I own my home. And so I always say I'm handy enough. There are certain things I can absolutely fix. Once you get into like water and electricity, I'm hiring a professional. I'm not even going to look it up because I will fuck it up and I don't want to do that. Yeah, no, those are good general
gas. Stay away from electric and gas.
See, luckily we don't do much. Phoenix isn't big on natural gas for whatever. I don't know, but electrical, plumbing. Nope. There's certain things like on the surface I can do, but I'm not, I'm not trying to replace the sink or fix the inside pieces of the toilet. Nope. No. Hiring somebody else.
I'll put it in a way that every person over 40 would understand. I was the kid that held the flashlight for my father as he worked on the engine of the car. He'll be able to feel
Yep.
it. That was me.
Yep. As long and you got to make sure you hold it right too. And that's you don't want to be getting screamed at.
Got yelled at for that a couple times.
Yeah. No, that happens happened to all of us. That's for sure. I wasn't the best with that. I would be okay at points, but I'm easily distracted. I've got some ADD. So,
yeah. Speaking of easily distracted, how about that opening shot from Crown Jewel?
No, the amount of people that bought that John Cena shirt. I want to see what that number is. I'm surprised Triple H when he's giving his numbers didn't give that number to us. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would have been a good number because I feel you said it when we were off air. It's like there was 13,000 people in the arena. It seemed like at least 9 or 10 of them had that shirt. Man.
At least.
Yeah. Especially anybody who knew they were going to be opposite the hard cam. And that was great. And I thought it was a good shot too with all of them in Cena's shirt, but doing Roman's pose. Yeah, it was good.
You know what was cool? They made 13,000 people look like 1 million people in that crowd shot. That was amazing. I when I started, I'm like, what does this place hold? Like 30,000? And they're like, 13,000 here. I'm like, 13.
And you could think that because that was the one in Paris was a 30,000 arena. It was, it was kind of like that. So I definitely thought it was closer to or over 20 with when I saw it and with what you heard. Like they were loud, obviously they were chanting in with your accent, but you could still understand most of it from it. And then they were just, obviously we know the international crowds are always going to be loud, but the Aussies came to play and it was smart too. I knew they were going to kick off the show with one of the Aussies, whether it was going to be Bronson or Rhea. Made sense with how the show was going to end to put Rhea where they did, but started off with Bronson and Roman in the street fight and they beat the snot out of each other for a good little while. It was, it was a 21-minute match.
The only match that went outside the ring. The only one.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's a great call.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it impactful. That makes it work. And also, too, it was the only match where that was in the stipulations. They didn't have to let it go or ease up on it or make the ref long where the ref's 10 count takes 1.5 minutes. Because this was the only one. There's a street fight. The other ones were there was 3 singles match and a tag match. That's a good call out. I didn't even realize it, but it makes a ton of sense. And that's also where it makes the weapons more impactful. It was fun to see him hit him with the stops. That was good. No, it was fun though in the way they did it with it. And then you were just kind of waiting for it when you knew where Breaker was going to come out and spear Roman because I feel like I still think that's the Mania match is Roman versus Breaker and Roman puts him over. But we'll see
what they do here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you're exactly. I'm not sure, but I'm very, very, very intrigued by it. And you knew this was going to happen. It just made a lot of sense.
How much money do you think they have invested in Roman's teeth? God, he's got a great smile.
That was one of the things that was one of the things he did when he was out at the beginning of COVID. Because he came back and he had the perfect veneers. Who did the act? Oh, it was when Ben Affleck did it for Armageddon. He came in. You're like, wait a minute, where's the Goodwill Hunting guy? Wait, hey, shit. If you got the money for it, go for it. Shit,
it's noticeable too. Like when he smiles, I'm like,
man, you really can see it.
Smile.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that's something too that once you've done that, you're gonna be smiling more because you're proud of it. I mean, that's you're happy that you got that. But
I was starting to think as we were watching this match, I'm like, are they actually gonna let Roman win? They were teetering with it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that that's what that's how they did it because like we said going into this. It's not going to hurt Roman to lose. It would be better for Bronson to win, but it's great to make it. And that's, I think, as far as I saw online, that's what everybody's thoughts were. Everybody was kind of in the same boat there, but you got to make it. I mean, when we're all in the same boat, we all kind of feel like, okay, well, they're smart enough. They know that they're going to have Bronson win. So you had that moment of doubt. And I thought that was cool because I was with you. There was a couple of points. And then, the Usos come out and they, equalize it and, fix the numbers game for it.
They didn't listen. They did not.
Right. And that was the part where I was glad that really was kind of brought full circle where, Roman said, no matter what, everybody thinks. And I like that Roman's trying to be like that type of baby face where he's like, look, I don't want to do this. Everybody thinks I can't do this on my own. And I want to prove them wrong, even against the vision. And, And you knew he
Yeah,
was going to lose.
they left those microphones on at the end for a reason.
Right. And
We'll get there in a minute.
Yep. Yeah. But and then it comes down to where the miscommunication and Jay Spears Roman, which you know is like, oh shit. Like, and it was done so well and brought into the. And then Roman gets the tsunami and Roman loses to Bronson Reed at home. And I was so glad that they like reiterated how important that was, where this is the second person to beat Roman in a singles match in like 5 years, 6 years. I forget what the exact number was, but Jesus.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. And I saw people online too trying to say that Roman was buried. I'm like, he's the second person to beat him in a singles match, like in the 2020s.
I didn't see anybody say that, but
I saw a couple. I saw
not even logically right. Not even close.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I saw. Yeah, I saw two different people that somebody else reposted or commented on saying about Roman and about the match at the end. It's just like you don't understand.
First off, people don't know what buried actually means.
That's the reason why it even stood out to me, because it's like, no, that's not what buried means. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, most of these people don't know how you can talk about buried, pushed. Like there's a million wrestling terms that they think they know because they've heard.
That's why I stay away from using them. I know what they mean.
I do too.
I don't want to come across using them because then people take them out and like I know exactly what everything means.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't feel like I need to use them in those points. Like it doesn't do me any good. No, it's something I want to do like that. We'll do a breakdown of it with we'll use Jim Cornette's the graphic novel, the behind the curtain graphic novel. The last 4 pages is literally a glossary of terms of like, here's what the term is, here's what it means. Yep, fucking marks. But yeah, then we had after the Vision leaves, you have this moment where Roman he basically tells me, I don't want to see y'all's faces until Christmas, which for me, I felt like that was also done to get people from stop to thinking that there's going to be the bloodline in War Games again this year. Like they've been in the last 3. Mm-hmm. You don't need to have them in War Games. You just don't. You know what I mean?
They still could if they wanted to.
They still could. No, they still could. But I feel like Triple H doesn't want to have them in there. I think he wants to move to something else. I kind of gets why like the Wyatts and the MFT. So maybe you'll have some bloodline involved, but not like Roman and the
family.
But we'll see. Right. We'll see.
Yeah, they made a specific point to leave those microphones on.
Right.
So we all could hear what they were saying. And it was
multiple times. Like they made sure. Yeah, which I thought was cool, but yeah, it definitely felt like that was done for a reason, at least to me. But yeah, no, that was
done for a reason, plain in fact.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you're right.
The commentators were totally quiet. They left it. That was totally there for 100%.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, they completely laid out. You're right. I didn't even think about that part of it. You're right. They did completely lay out for it, and it was good. It's good. And it moves the storyline. Neither of us have watched Monday Night Raw yet because again, it was on at 5 a.m. my time, 7 a.m. for George. But which is good. I want to be able to talk about this straight in a vacuum without going into what happened the next night. So then they went right into the women's Crown Jewel match, which I thought was kind of smart in the storyline or in the flow of the match, or the flow of the show. Especially too, since there was so much heat in the other one. This was kind of babyface. This match doesn't have a ton of heat, but
no,
it's still cool to see. Like, it's still, it was gonna be a good match. I was glad it was, but it
was all right.
It wasn't that long.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
noticeable difference. First thing I noticed, Tiffany looks like she probably took about 10 pounds of unwanted area and turned it into solid mass. She looked totally different to me. Totally.
I'll give you that. Yeah, no,
when she came in, I could see it from this picture. There's nothing.
Yeah, no, you're right. She did. Totally. She definitely has. I mean, yeah, she definitely kind of. Yeah, I'm trying to say it the right way in the sense because like she never looked bad. We're just saying that she toned it up. Yeah, no, I get you. I'm with you.
It's 100%. I know it's the first thing I noticed when she came out. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I get you. No, that's a good catch. I mean, and you're right. It absolutely is. It was just yeah, no, you're right. I'm trying to think. I just didn't want to come off wrong.
yeah,
But it was a fun match. Yeah, it was a good match. No, you put it the right way, and I didn't have to better. There was no other way to reiterate it without just repeating you. So I'm just gonna let you. You're right. Because she's always looked great, but now she looks more defined. But this was a fun match. It was good. It was kind of fun to see her like shoot for the devil's kiss a few times and get denied, but then eventually nail it. Because let's be real, that's the move everybody wants to see in that. But unsurprisingly, to me at least, Stephanie won. I thought that's who should win. Especially since she's kind of more on the rise here at the last. I don't know how long it's been, or since January that Tiffany's had the title, so she didn't really need it. Plus two, Stephanie's just the woman of the moment. It's kind of the best way to put it, really, at this point.
Yeah.
She's just, which is great.
It's an exhibition. It's an exhibition belt.
That's
like comes around once a year, and it really means nothing.
No, it's just it's a fun way of having the two champions win,
meet for no reason.
Yeah, that's good point. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And that's why it was only 10 minutes, didn't need to be, Cody and Seth have an actual story and there's heat involved there. So it makes a little bit more sense with Cody and Seth to have a longer of a match.
There was a little bit of awkward points in this. I don't think Tiffany's quite at the ring general standpoint yet.
No,
Stephanie's still not, obviously she's still learning things.
Right.
So Tiffany works better with like a Charlotte Flair.
Yes.
Even an Alexa Bliss, stuff like people that have been around, she works
right.
Really
Somebody who's
got to be in charge of things. Like you could tell it was a little awkward, but it was a good match.
You're right. No, that's a good way of putting it. No, and that's a very good way of putting it because Stephanie's got really more wrestling history and wrestling career, but not in the WWE. Because Tiffany, I mean, as great as she's been, she's really only been wrestling for like 4 years. So
she's still in her 20s, right?
Right. Oh, early 20. I think like 24, 25. She's young. Yeah. AJ Styles in the shorts, the old TNA gear, that really popped me. This was really like your fan service nostalgia match of the year. Like this was one of those ones that, I mean, if you've been a pro wrestling fan for the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, this match was in service to you. They did so much fun stuff.
If it wasn't yet, by the time John Cena gave this slip of paper to our announcer, then it became that.
Yeah, that is true. You're right.
Because it was just going to be a normal match until he gave the introduction. And I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, well, here we go.
Well, I mean, and Styles coming out in the shorts was a good kind of teasing for it. But yeah, no, because Cena wrote not only his introduction, but wrote Styles, where he called him, that was like the definition of total nonstop action, the undisputed leader of the Bullet Club.
I don't think AJ knew anything about that.
I don't think so either. No, I think they knew like what they were going to do in the match, but I don't think AJ knew that either. I don't think AJ, because they had a camera on his face for his reaction. Like you don't do that for any other. Yeah, that was done on purpose, which is great. I thought it was fantastic. It really was. It was a good, it was a good way to do that. It was fun. And, we've got John Cena hitting, he hit the walls of Jericho. He hit a choke slam. He did the
and they called it on commentary. They called it the walls of Jericho.
Yes, they did. And
surprising to me, no, not really.
Not really. No, because
he's coming back. He's coming.
Well, it doesn't harm them to do it. They
never used it before. They never once have said it. This is the first time they've actually said it.
Right, but they've shown shots of Jericho before, and they've mentioned Jericho before.
No, they've never.
Not called it the walls. I get you.
Yeah, his move, they never call it that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and I mean, because a lot of times it is just the what it turned into was the Boston Crab. But Cena even like he goes into the crab, but he started with the knee in the back of the neck, which is the walls of Jericho, or also the Lion Tamer, if you really want to go back with it. I mean, he hits the Sister Abigail like that. That
was pretty cool.
It was, and then the all the fans bringing out the fireflies, like that was a cool moment. Like that's one of those things that is just cool stuff. Like that's what wrestling is all about. And you could even see like that hit Cena because they had a good rivalry. That weird Firefly Floodhouse match they had, but also too like I mean. they were good friends in real life. So it was something that was really important. Bray was important to Cena. So that was a cool
if this
thing
was
to
any
see.
other match with any other two guys, I would have got sick of this stuff after a while. But
I'll give you that. But that's also
I enjoyed every bit of this.
Yeah, and it's there's it's one of those things that not everybody could do something like this. A lot of guys could want to, but they had to earn it, and they earned it. They earned this. That was one of those things where they really did earn it. So
yeah, you've seen everything from Undertaker, HBK, Chris Jericho, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, he basically he did the tombstone, and then he did the AA to pile on top of it. But I mean, the match could have ended with a tombstone. Like, I honestly thought he was going to, and did the AA and then but it was fun. Like, it was done well. I enjoyed it. There's not really much else you can say about it other than that it was done very well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I thoroughly
again these crown jewel matches are basically exhibition matches.
They're not even basically. They are.
There's very little for storyline except for the first match. Probably that was it.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the women's tag with where that's going with Rio and Ia. I just combined them together and called them Ia. But and then I do think there's some stuff, but we'll get into the main event, that there is some stuff in that is for the story.
Yeah, very little, but they put on a show for the people. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. And that was what the women's tag match was too. Obviously, after Cena wins, and I thought I had a picture of Cena lifting AJ's hand up, but apparently didn't save right. Yay, technology. But that was good. They ended it well. It was a very good, respectful babyface match. And then in the penultimate match was smart there's where you put Rhea in, and Io. Everybody loves Io, but let's be real. It's Rhea in her home country. I know it's not really her hometown, but whatever. It's close enough.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her in a singles match in this, but I get why they put her here.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Well, I feel like, if you weren't going to have her be in the title picture for it, but you kind of were almost stuck with this in that moment. But it made sense. A couple of weeks before they announced this match, I kind of could see this is where it was going, and it was fine. I enjoyed that part. Like, it made sense. This match was exactly what you said. They put on a show for the crowd. Rhea hits the move, tags in Io so she can stand there and celebrate when Io gets the pin. Great stuff. It was fun. Nothing super special, but didn't need to be either. Like, I don't know not sure what anybody else would have expected from it, but I enjoyed it.
It was all right.
I thought it was done well.
I guess I would have rather seen Rhea by herself go one-on-one with anybody. Would have been a little more exciting for me, but the first 7 minutes was just Io getting the crap beat out of her, and then she finally made a hot tag to Rhea. So and that's for the crowd. Makes sense. No. And then we had the main event, Cody versus Seth. And this one, now it's funny, we've been saying this whole thing, it was an exhibition, and you're right, it absolutely was an exhibition, but Seth had to win. And I'm glad that they made that a point within the stories they've done building up to it. And even in the show, in the night of, they were making sure to say, Breaker asked Bronson, what happens if Seth loses, and Paul came back in.
Yeah,
even if he's waving his hands for you to come in, don't come in at all, sipping his coffee.
Yeah, and Breaker says, "What do we do if Seth loses?" And Heyman just can't even pops his head back in and just goes, "I think you both already know the answer to that." Which I mean, it is all on Seth. He has to win the match, and that's where it gives this match. It gave it more than just it being a exhibition, and it was good. And they've got a good history. The 3 matches they had a couple years ago were fun.
Crowd was kind of tapped out at this point, though.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, but I mean that's. Yeah, but I feel like they got into it with the moves that they did. I mean,
they tried.
Yeah,
but they were after Rhea and after the other man.
Yeah, they were definitely. You're right. They were spent after Rhea. I mean, even Cody busted. I saw Hurricane Helms put up what is going on?
Because Cena brought that crowd to a fever pitch. So
yeah, no, you're right.
Cena and Rhea back to back. That's perfect. And you follow it up with the match. But you do what you can do. I mean,
for sure.
Tried.
Yeah, no, there it is. My StreamYard was being shitty on me. Got the vertebraker. That's what I was trying to pull up. I thought that was fun. I saw Shane Helms repost that. That was cool to see. That was fun. Yeah, and then we had Seth
Oh,
flying.
this move was cool. This was good.
Fun. Yeah, this was different. Like this was, I was wondering what he was. I'm like, is he gonna do like a flying stomp? I'm like, I don't think he can get his feet over there, but just that flying headbutt. But you're right though. Look at the crowd. You're right though. They're not up.
No, they're
like,
not.
They're there. Similar to what we said about Bound for Glory when we get into the talking about that. Where yeah, they were there. They were happy. They were watching it. They were enjoying it. But yeah, it wasn't quite. They weren't quite as into it and quite as fun. But the finish was fun. I liked it. I mean, Seth using the Rolex that Cody gave him to hit him in the jaw too. Be like, oh, it was one punch. I'm like, if you're hit directly in the jaw, that's why there's things called glass jaws, or jaws of steel. Like it was a shot to the face after a 28-minute match.
Yeah, and if you look at the shot to the face, he hit him.
Yes, that's why I grabbed this picture when I saw him on the WWE photo album thing. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. He's like, I mean, it's not a full punch, but he's punching him in the face.
It's pretty close.
And I'm sure Cody told him to, because it's, Cody knows it's good for the business. Have the bruises, have the cuts. Those things look good for the business. He knows every time Rock made him bleed, it's good for the business. But it does lead to Seth winning the match, as he should. That needed to happen. And I'm the biggest Cody fan. I'm always rooting for Cody. I always want him to win. But this story needed to be Seth winning. It just made the most sense. And then Triple H presents him the crown jewel belt in the ring. And then
that awkward moment when Stephanie Vaquer pops out.
Yes. That was, I was wondering if,
God, this is weird.
This is because, I mean, he's trying to be nice about it, but he's also a heel. She's also a female. And we know that like his wife's there. You know what I mean? Like it's just very awkward, very weird, but it was awkward last year too with Cody and Liv. It was super weird.
It's a weird
move. I mean, I get it in the sense because you wanted to put it over with it, but yes, it's just very, very strange. I did like what Stephanie, like she was able to hit her pose with the ring though, with their finger like that. I thought that was smart. Like if you're going to win it with her and that's her pose, like fit the ring to fit the index finger. But overall, I enjoyed the show. Want to get back to this shot again because I do love it. I do think it was great to see all the audience, to see the Aussies going crazy for it. They were great on SmackDown on Friday. The kickoff show stuff, they were fun. The post show, they got a little weird with the singing Edge's song and stuff. But hey, you do what you want. You do it.
That was a little embarrassing.
That was a little weird. And Triple H, you can't even acknowledge it because like, I know some people think that there's a chance that can happen, but those people are insane, right?
Not
like that's
the injury,
not with the injury. And then like, well, just Edge is signed to AEW.
Well, they sang Edge's song. They also chanted for Moxley. And then there was one more. Or the other one.
There
was three people. I can't remember.
Okay. I only saw the Edge. Well, I really would.
John Moxley chant was bad. And then there was one more. I can't remember, but either way.
Yeah.
But this whole card, you had one match go outside the ring, and you had no afterbirth in any matches. I don't think.
I mean, a little bit with the first match, but that was really more.
That's not really,
yeah, right, because that was kind of
it's part of the story.
Yeah, you're right. There really wasn't. No, because Cena and AJ kind of did like the babyface thing. The Kabuki Warriors left the ring and let Rhea and Io celebrate. You're right, which is good. And
again, I'll go back to the old coaching knowledge of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep. Nope. 100% with you. 100% with you.